Hey everyone, today we're going to be looking at a 2023 VW ID4. We're going to remove the front bumper cover off of this vehicle. I'm going to show you where all the bolts are located. I'm going to show you what style bolts are used in what locations. And I'm going to show you some of the hidden bolts that you might not know exist. So let's take a look at this front bumper cover removal and let's learn something. If you like what you see today, hit the like and subscribe button and check us out for other content like this. All right, let's get into it. So what tools will you need for this project? You're going to need a jack first of all. Get the car lifted up in the air so you can access the bolts underneath. You're going to need jack stands to set the car down on so that you can work safely and not injure yourself. And then you're going to need a 1/4-inch ratchet and a 1/4-inch T25 torque socket. You can use a drill for the T25 torque socket to make it a little easier for you. The types of bolts that we'll be removing are this T25 with a split in it, and then we'll be removing this T25 without a split. You'll find the T25 without a split in less noticeable areas like along your wheel liners and underneath the bumper, and then you'll find your T25 with the splits in more noticeable areas like when you open up the hood and the bumper bolts will be exposed with these T25s with the split. After you safely have the vehicle lifted in the air, we're going to go ahead and remove the torque screws out of the wheel liner and lower bumper cover. The bumper cover has two style bolts here. The ones with the split, which are in the wheel liners, and the ones without the split, which you'll find in the lower bumper cover of the vehicle. You want to be sure to make sure you know where these go. And then if you'll notice, there's also a non-splitted T25 in the corner of the wheel flare that you'll have to remove at this point as well. In the lower part of the bumper cover, there are just 4 bolts that you'll want to remove from that center piece of the bumper cover. You don't need to go farther back, you just need to remove these 4 bolts from the center of the bumper cover, and then also your wheel liners. Alright, now that you removed all your bolts from under the bumper cover, let's move over to the wheel liner. On the wheel liner, you're going to see 4 of those T25 bolts, and they do not have the split in these bolts. So areas that are not seen very well do not have the split in the bolts. So we're going to go ahead and take those out. I'm using an electric ratchet in the wheel liner area here. It's nice and compact, it will fit in that area. A regular ratchet works just fine. I like using electric tools whenever I can. Drills are good in the wide open areas. Okay, let's go ahead and unsnap the wheel flare from the vehicle now. We're going to slightly rock the flare back and forth, pushing or pulling to one side or the other. This will help release the Christmas tree style clip on the back side of the wheel flare. Let me show you what the back side looks like. You'll notice that these wedge looking clips have a flat spot on each side, and that's why you'll push to one side, pull the flare out, and then push to the other side to release it. There are 4 of these types of clips, and then you'll release the one clip out of the fender by slightly doing the same thing. With the wheel flares loose now, you can pull them away from the vehicle and you'll expose a T25 Torx bolt behind the flare. You'll want to go ahead and remove this hidden bolt. This attaches the bumper cover to a bracket behind the bumper. Okay, now that you've removed the bolts from the wheel liners, go ahead and go to the left side of the vehicle and pull back the wheel liner to expose the electrical connectors. You're going to put your hand inside the wheel liner and you're going to find these 3 electrical connectors here on the vehicle. There are 2 black ones and 1 red one that you will have to disconnect from the bumper cover on the body of the vehicle. Here again, if you just pull back the wheel liner, you should be able to stick your hand inside there and disconnect those connectors. Here's what they look like on the bumper side. The connectors have a small tab on them. You'll want to press down on the small tab and pull back slightly on that tab, and then pull the connector away from the body side connector. On this other one, it's just got a small tab on the top. You don't need to pull it back, you just need to press it and you should be able to release the connector. Here again, you should be able to put your hands inside of the wheel liner on the left side and disconnect these wires. If you're uncomfortable with doing that, you can always do it when you release the bumper cover. It's just hard to do when you're trying to balance the bumper cover in your hand and release these connectors. If you have 2 people to help you do this, then it makes it a little easier. Next, you're going to remove the bolts out of the top of the bumper cover. There's going to be 8 of these bolts up top. There's going to be 2 bolts on the left headlamp, 2 bolts on the center support, 2 bolts on the right center support, and 2 more bolts on the right headlamp. And if you notice, all these bolts up top are exposed when you open the hood, so they have the split in the bolt head. A little tip for when you're going to reassemble the car, to use this style bolt on the top so that it looks consistent to the factory look when you're done. Now let's unsnap the bumper cover from the retainers on the body of the vehicle. You're going to do this by slightly lifting up on the upper part of the bumper cover above the headlamps. And then you're going to come over to the side right below the headlamps and pull away from the body. Let's take a little closer look at how this goes. Pull up on the bumper cover to pull it away from the bracket on the body, and then below the headlamp, pull out on the bumper cover to release it from the bracket on the body. You're going to notice that there's kind of square holes in the bumper cover. That's what holds it onto the bracket. And then slightly pull forward on the bumper cover to release the clips underneath the headlamp. Unsnapping the lower part of the cover is a little more harder to pull off. If you grab the lower corner of the cover, it gives you a little more leverage to pull the cover away from the vehicle. You'll want to do this on both sides to unsnap the clips from the lower cover. This is where it's handy to have two people removing the bumper cover. Each person can be on either side to help balance the bumper cover. Alright, now smile, you've done a good job. Here's what it looks like behind the scenes. The lower cover snaps into this lower bar of the bumper reinforcement. There are square holes in the top and bottom of this bar that you'll notice in this shot. On the bumper cover side, you'll see the clips that snap into the lower bar on the vehicle. These clips span the length of the cover on the bottom of the bumper cover. This is what makes it a little difficult to pull the bumper cover away from the vehicle when you're trying to unsnap the cover. Here in this shot, you'll see the design of these clips. They're flat on one side and wedged on the other. This is how they snap back into the vehicle when you go to reinstall the bumper cover. Like I said, they span the bottom length of this bumper cover, so sometimes you really have to get some force behind pulling this bumper cover off. To reinstall the cover, simply center up the bumper to the car. Gently push the cover into the snaps underneath the headlamps. Then get on one side of the vehicle and go ahead and snap in the cover to the retainer, and then repeat on the other side. Once you've got that, you can go ahead and gently push on the bottom of the bumper cover, and then do all the steps in reverse as far as reinstalling all the screws at that point. I hope you guys have found this video helpful. I'm going to leave you with one of our local businesses doing a cars and coffee get together. Make sure to share this video with your friends and hit that subscribe button to catch all the latest content that we will be putting out on this channel. Things that will be coming up will be very interesting, and I hope you guys will enjoy what I have to do. Alright guys, everyone have a great day and stay safe.